discrete math, calculus, they need to have a strong foundation in algebra and trigonometry. May mga ganun tayong perspectives. There's always meaning for everything. And it promotes critical thinking. And students will be thinking also of, I want to make these things meaningful to me. That's the idea of authentic assessment. Therefore, authentic assessment uses knowledge situated in realistic context. For example, if we have the material na gagamitin natin or activity sa bata na lifted from a given source or sabihin natin na ang naging pattern niya ay nasa isang libro na international yung context, pwede natin baguhin yung context ng mismo activity o ng problem-solving exercise ng local context siya. Ibig sabihin, we're citing some of the names, things na applicable dito sa Pilipinas. At least they can easily see the connection or the integration. And it promotes cognitively challenging and complex tasks. May mga bata kasi, if we can identify them, there are fast learners and slow learners, no? Usually, ang mga fast learners o mga smart learners, pag binigyan mo sila ng mga activities, compared to the slow learners, mas madali nila na-accomplish ito. That's why there's always a ground for the group activities in order for them to collaborate and to work with a team, in a team. So it's more on giving them challenging tasks that are considered to be meaningful. Familiar with the Bloom's taxonomy, but also we have here Bloom's digital taxonomy or activities with the digital tools. We're reminded with the different levels of cognitive domain from remembering to creating. Pero kung titignan nyo po dito, meron tayong mga iba't ibang digital tools na pwede natin gamitin or activities in order for us to elicit still the trust of Bloom's taxonomy. For example, if we want to promote creating or the highest level of the Bloom's taxonomy, we can ask our student to do blog, to do filming, to do publication, podcasting, or directing. Halimbawa naman kung applying, no? Usually at the application level is merely integrated in mathematics, wherein you can ask them to calculate, you can ask them to charting, you can ask them to edit, and to upload. Okay, so those are some of the digital taxonomy tools that you can use or activities na pwede natin ipagawa sa bata. Aside from that, these are some of the tools, no, or the applications naman na pwede namang gamitin ng mga bata o ng teachers depending on the level of the Bloom's cognitive domain o taxonomy. Okay? Actually, ang mga bata natin, ang mga estudyante natin, because they are in the digital era, they are considered to be digital natives, kahit na hindi natin ituro sa kanila ang karamihan sa mga applications na ito, meron diyang iba marunong gumamit ng mga applications na yon. Example, they can easily edit good graphics or good illustrations or images using their Instagram account or Visco or Canva. What we want them, kailangan na lang gawin ni teacher is to facilitate the learning and to facilitate the use of those tools, no? Hindi naman kailangan na fully maging tech-savvy ka. Sabi ko nga sa first day ng seminar natin, hindi mo kailangan maging tech-savvy ka para maging familiar ka doon sa mga tools. It's just that we want them to facilitate lang their own way of learning using this kind of tools. Okay? Now let's talk about the different online learning principles. These are the things that everyone and we should remember in using or in applying online assessment. First one is a longitudinal reflection. The idea that in our mind, we are always diagnosing we're always doing what we call diagnostic assessment. Meaning to say, iniisip natin ang bata lagi na meron itong existing na problema and there's always an existing need that needs to be addressed. These things or the online formative assessment can be also a way for improving ourselves in terms of our teaching practices and learning tasks. Usually, we will experience that on the first 5 to 6 weeks na kapag tayo ay nag-engage sa ganitong klase ng modality. Marami tayong may encounter na problem pag una pa lang paggawa ng exam, pag-check ng exam, pag-record ng exam. Kung manually natin siyang ginagawa, walang problema. Pero kasi merong mga panibagong paraan o mga emerging practices tayo using online exams or online tools na pwede natin gamitin para mapadali ang ating mga buhay. Next is high quality feedback. How do we give feedback to our student? That's very important, no? Isa to sa mga kapag sabi nila, pag tumatagal na tayo sa serbisyo ng pagtuturo, yung mga unang 10 taon natin sa pagtuturo, napaka-dynamic pa raw natin. Pero habang tumatagal na, dahil we're used to it, nagiging na siya, repetitive na yung ginagawa natin, hindi na tayo nakakapagbigay ng magagandang feedback. Pero ang feedbacking can be done through a personal consultation or even online consultation. Like for example, the pre-formulated response essay task. Halimbawa, isang essay output ng bata, maraming grammatical errors, pwede ka po mag-create ng isang pre-formulated na response agad at yun yung ibibigay mo dun na response sa bata. Okay? It should be timely, sufficiently detailed, and constructive. Kaya meron akong isang nakitang feedback ng teacher dun sa kanyang estudyante. Nagtanong sa kanya sa Facebook Messenger. Tapos, Sir, paano po natin i-check yung paano po namin i-validate yung questionnaire namin? Tapos sabi nung teacher, maghanap ka lang ng 5 teachers na pwede mag-validate doon. Tapos sabi naman ng bata, Sir, anong qualification ng teacher na mag-validate? Sige, basta nagtuturo, okay na yon. So, meaning to say, there's no specific detail, no? We should provide our students specific detail on how they will go with the assessment. Most especially in this kind of flexible learning environment kasi napaka-specific. Usually, kapag face-to-face classroom, madali tayo magbibigay ng instruction. Pero pagdating sa online, we can give our instruction through an online discussion agad pag nag-Zoom ka or kapag nag-MS Teams ka. Pero pag asynchronous yan at through email, napaka-detailed ng specific na instruction na kailangan mo ibigay sa mga bata. Ready-made tool. So you can use rubrics or online or digital rubrics available in the internet. There are prototype rubrics available depending on the need of your assessment strategy or standard. You can also, if there's an institutional way or policy to use rubrics and the way you formulate rubrics, you can also follow that. Another is the technology-enabled authentic learning. There must have real life value. So there's always an essence. For example, when you ask your student to present solutions, you can ask them to create a presentation file using Microsoft PowerPoint. Pwede silang mag-present ng ganon. Aside from that, when you want your student to create a report, let them use Microsoft Word or any kind of word processor. Data analysis, we can use Microsoft Excel or spreadsheet. So as much as possible, let them to accomplish their task that will be able to let them apply later on sa mga field of work nila in the future. Limbawa, meron akong na-experience na yung assessment ay ang class ay programming, that's computer programming. And the professor, sa buong programming 1 and 2 na required courses ng computer sciences, I think, ang naituro lang niya ay si HTML at si CSS. I don't know kung tama yung term ko ha. Hindi niya naituro si PHP at si Java. Yung bata, nung siya ay nag-apply na ng trabaho, ang basic requirement pala nung company na in-apply niya ay Java at PHP. So meaning to say, hindi na-meet yung standard competency ng course. Maybe because si teacher hindi niya napag-aralan yung PHP at Java. Kaya pagdating ng bata sa school, nung bata sa field of work, nangapa siya agad. Kaya as a teacher, it's very important for us to know what's with the current setup in the field work, in the corporate world, even also in education field. Kung ano ba nasa field of discipline natin, ano ba ang trends na ginagawa ngayon sa field in order for our student to really cope. Isa yung kasi sa mga there's what they called a mismatch of skills because of the way how we assess our student during their baccalaureate years or baccalaureate preparation. That's why this time around siguro we need to rethink again our strategies in terms of assessment. Aside from that, we can have our enhanced collaboration. We can promote social constructivism through collaboration and also discussion. We can do that through synchronous online discussion or asynchronous online discussions or even through online meetings. Make use of technology as much as possible kasi ang mga bata natin, they're digital natives. At Yes, we can still resort on the traditional way on how we ask our student to accomplish something, pero kasi marami ng mga modes o modality ngayon na ginagawa in order for our student to become dependent, highly dependent on technology. Right now, for example, because of this pandemic, no, karamihan sa mga teachers na hinahire ngayon, yung mga bagong graduates natin ng EDU, syempre inaabot na sila ng pandemic. And karamihan ng mga schools, but in the pre-employment process, on the interview and the qualification, tinatanong muna or ina-assess muna kung ang teacher na nag-apply o ang teacher applicant ay may kakayahang mag-conduct ng classes online. That's one of the emerging skill na kailangan meron ang mga teacher applicant ngayon, kasi it requires them to use different online tools and applications in teaching. Napapag-aralan naman siya. It's just that on the baccalaureate years, on the baccalaureate preparation, dapat na-expose na rin yung teacher applicant noong time na nag-aaral siya kung paano gumamit ng technology. Okay? Now, exploit a variety of techniques across assessment methods. There are different ways on how we can do assessment. It can be through email, it can be through chat. A simple question will do and you ask your student to give a response. And that is a good way for you to manage your course, to manage your assessment for them. There's also diversity. This is very important. I know most of you here would be this would be your primary concern. How can we address the diversity of our student in terms of different categories or factors? First one, the socioeconomic status. Tama naman. Not all students have the access to technology or devices, but how can we make mechanisms or make alternative solutions to our students to still accomplish their outputs or assessment tasks? Access to devices, yes. Paano ka nga mag-online class kung wala kang laptop? So you need to resort to modular approach. Access to and stability of the internet. Sometimes it's fluctuating, most especially if the student is residing in a remote area. Okay? Like in PNU, what we're experiencing so far in terms of our student demographics is that most of our students are residing outside Metro Manila or even outside Luzon. Kaya ang aming means of delivery for them is flexible. May mga estudyanteng kakayanin mag-online, merong iba naman ay mag-modular dahil wala nga access sa technology talaga yung karamihan. And hindi namin sila pwedeng i-require na pumunta ng PNU dahil ang demographics sila ay kalat. So 50% of our students came from the provinces. Hindi talaga sila directly from Metro Manila. That's why assessment or initial assessment of our students' demographics is very important. Kailangan malaman muna natin talaga kung saan sila nanggaling, saan sila nakatira, anong means of transportation nila, access to device, capability to do online, their access to internet, so on and so forth. Also, learners with special needs, if there is, second language English speakers ba sila, stable electricity supply, yes, and also our cultural variables. Cultural variables are not merely highly, highly discussed or highly consulted kapag face-to-face classes kasi we're very general when it comes to our instruction kasi. Pero sa online learning, we need to address certain cultural differences or traditions na meron sila or religious background na meron sila because it matters on the way we give tasks or we give activities. And also preparing IT and the people. So is there a sufficient system that is in place to support the online assessment task? For example, what mechanisms or platform? I think sa mga susunod na inyong mga discussions with your management and with your colleges, we need to settle this one kasi syempre ang IT support ay napaka-vital sa panahong ito because it will heavily support the mandate of the institution for online learning. And also, how do we give exams and to monitor also for quality assurance. Okay, and also monitor and remediate students at risk. Ano ibig sabihin natin ng student at risk? These are the students who are not merely performing well, even in a face-to-face class. Pwede na sabihin, hindi na nga nagpe-perform na maayos sa face-to-face class. Hindi pa nagpe-perform na maayos sa online. So, anong remediation ang magagawa